So what's up, homeboy? What you think about Backrooms?
Man, Backrooms. It's been about 3 weeks, so today was a little bit of me reorienting myself with the movie, but it was good. I liked it. I mean, I feel like I'm just like hitting back to back great horror movies. Not that I know if I would call this a horror movie, but in the horror genre.
What's the main thing that comes to your mind when I say Backrooms? What stands out?
Memory.
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 Okay. Wow, that's deep. Okay.
Oh, it's gonna get deep.
For me, it's visual. Just the whole visual of the rooms,
Mhm.
how they guided through it visually. That was very interesting. I thought that was like, I don't know. I just felt like I'm there and I felt like I'm in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So it's just such a cool experience, you know? Yeah.
Well, it's crazy to think that this one, if I remember correctly, the director who did all the backroom shorts, which I have not seen any of, so that's going to change how I view this movie a little bit. But I believe he did them all in Blender. And then they're trying to match the real time sets because they actually built all of these sets to what he's been doing, in his room by himself, which is pretty crazy. I mean, like, rarely are we trying to go in the direction of, hey, match this real set to what we've you know, got on video here.
I saw the original clip on
Uh-huh.
YouTube. It's like a few minutes, and it's very, very similar to the movie. So they stayed quite true to it. And it was good. The concept works. I'm surprised it took that long to make that into a horror because, I mean, it's great. So, okay.
Well, he's
So
got 10, I mean, it's like 10 plus episodes on YouTube for like Backrooms content. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Maybe you know.
I haven't seen 10. I only saw one. I gotta see more.
Well, I think he's
Yeah.
got like a series of videos. We should probably go back through, like, if we like this one enough, I mean, we could always go back through, watch those, and then kind of give it more perspective after we've seen the previous content
We
that's
could watch
already,
those in real time and do reaction,
yeah,
you know? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was good though. I
So
mean, this made me want to get in the universe. Like, I want to see all the content. I've got more questions than I have answers, but I think that's kind of the fun thing about the movie. Like, that's when you leave a movie and you like it. I think any movie that poses at least a few questions that you have trouble answering, trying to kind of figure out what your thoughts are, or you're kind of having to paint the picture of what happens with the story after. That's something that really like sticks with me, and I go home and I think about it more. And I feel like this one brought a lot more questions than answers.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, I really like the movie. I think some of the lore, how deep it is, I do really want to understand it because right now I don't feel like I get enough, or it feels like too open-ended for me.
Yeah.
But what I really liked about the movie is like from the beginning, first 5-10 minutes, that opening scene where the guy's walking around and he goes into this room and he's escaping, trying to talk to his teammates. I've never went that far before. I split up from the group. Like from the beginning, that movie captured me. I'm like, wow,
Hmm.
that feels different than any other movie I've seen. It
Yeah.
just gives me a completely different feeling.
Yeah. Bringing the hand cam back in 2026 is like, man, the quality has changed, but it's like it's fun still. Like, it like brings you back to, I mean, at least brings me back to like a different time a little bit. It's kind of hard to watch something that's that grainy, but it's also like brings some sort of weird nostalgia. So I like, which is funny because the guy who's directing it's like 20 years old, so probably has never hit for him like it would hit for me, but it's a little bit of like a home video vibe.
I get nauseous when I see a lot of first person camera work, but that didn't make me nauseous at all. And maybe because it's grainy, so it's not as visually overloaded, but
Yeah,
it
the more
just felt
crisp it
really
is.
comfortable. I felt really comfortable watching this movie, even though it's like horror or suspense. It gives me that good feeling throughout, except the end. The end kind of left me like, I don't really know what's happening here. You left
Yeah.
it like so open ended, but maybe it's just maybe they're setting us up for Backrooms 2, and I'd love that.
I'm pretty sure they're already greenlit for it,
Ooh, that's gonna be good because I'm
which I'm
trying to figure
excited
out what's
about.
going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of story left to tell. And I mean, clearly, if they've already got content on it and they're still making stuff, I mean, you can take it in all kinds of different directions that go in interesting places.
Did you see a video on YouTube where somebody redid Backrooms, but the monster that's chasing you is Giga Chad?
I did not see this. I heard like McDonald's is apparently coming up with content. I watched something like Half in the Bag or something, and they said like
Mm.
McDonald's is doing like a bunch of like promo-y things like that.
And speaking of monsters, do you have any, because I was trying to see who it is, but I couldn't tell who the monster was in the beginning, who got the first guy. Did you see?
No, and that's what I like, and I think that was probably my initial complaint with the film, which I don't think it is now. Now that I've like thought about it more, because the thing is, with any monster, the less you see it, the more horrifying it is. Like, if I don't know what it looks like and it's hidden in the shadows, or I'm just seeing the eyes, that's when it's really scary. And the second pull the curtains off and then you get to see it, and I mean, it's like for almost every monster in every monster movie, it ruins it once you've seen it. Like, there are a few exceptions, like, Cloverfield, I feel like still fun. That was like very like masked and like trying to get trailers out there and really like hiding the fact of what this monster was, but when you see it, you still enjoy it. But that's a different kind of fear. I mean, it's like giant monster versus like, scary. I don't know. There's just something scarier about a monster your size than like a giant.
Yeah, yeah. When that monster caught the first guy, the first researcher,
Hmm.
I really like the sound that they picked when the camera drops and then the sound that he makes when he essentially gets murked.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice choice because they didn't go for like stereotypical screaming at the top of the lungs. It almost felt like it was a little bit more muted down, but in a way it's like pleasing, you know?
Yeah. I feel like with The Room too, like it's so easy to imagine yourself in that situation because like you've been playing around or running from somebody and then get stuck and then you're like, I have literally
Oh
nowhere
yeah,
to go
that's
right now. Like I'm in this room, I know this thing's coming through, and you're just like in your head, like where if I get in the corner, maybe I can jump out like as he's coming through the door, and like it's just it feels so real. Even because it's just like games we play, like you have a dog chase you, and it's like it starts as a game and then it gets scary because your body's just naturally like trying to respond to that instinct of like fear.
it is like like I used to get dreams where I'd be like in my apartment back in Kazakhstan, and I'd be like on the third floor, and I'd get a dream where like the predators from the movie Predator are like
Uh-huh.
knocking on my door, and I'm trying to get away from them.
Well,
So
it's
I
a nice
think that
they
whole
knocked. Here to kill you. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah, and then that kept repeating itself, and I don't know why, but I think that's like a theme in our mind, like, or maybe fear or unconscious we've all experienced maybe through our dreams, running away from danger. So that's why he's like running away, like, oh, the door is stuck, and then and then right around the corner it gets him. It's just so like it's so simple, but it's so like ingrained in us,
Hmm.
right? Hide and seek, monsters in our dreams. So I love that part. Like I could see the whole movie where like 10 people trying to escape like a
Yeah.
maze and then
Well,
one
it's
of them
like
survives.
there's something like fun about it too. Like, the whole like hiding and seeking kind of situation. It's like, even though it's a scary situation in this, it's
Good.
like you want to be there too. You're like, I want to run. I want to see if I can get away from this thing.
Because like I split up from my group, I lost them. I was like, okay, okay, you probably deserve
Yeah,
that to happen
you're
to you.
probably messing around, not paying attention. This is your fault.
Oh
So
gosh.
you got to walk me through because, it's been a little bit of time for me. So after we go through, we kind of see that, he gets stuck in the room, he gets got
Hmm.
by the monster. Where are we next? Are we with Clark in the furniture store?
By the way, in that first sequence when that researcher is walking through, you see how do you call when the ship, the things that rule it, the ship wheel, the steering wheel of the ship. You see it in the walls. So
Hmm.
he's in the area close to what is that,
So he's by Captain Clark's
Captain Clark, or is it Captain
Wonder
Jack?
Import. Isn't it Clark?
I forget. I don't know what it is. What's the store name? Do you
Pretty
know?
sure it's Clark. I don't know what his exact store name is.
Let me see. Store in Backrooms.
Google to the rescue.
Yeah, that way, because we need to refer to it sometimes. Clark, but Captain Clark's Ottoman Empire. Captain Clark, Ottoman Empire.
Ottoman Empire. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that researcher is That researcher is near the Captain Clark's Ottoman Empire furniture
Yeah.
store because you see those ship wheels. I don't know the English word for it, but yeah. I think where do we move after that? I don't remember exactly.
I forgot about the ship wheel too, and that kind of changes my thought on some of the theories I have, or at
Mm-hmm.
least, I guess, furniture wise, because at this time we're to assume, well, actually, are we going back in time to get to Clark, or are we present time after
So
the
they
monster?
show. I looked like in the beginning of the just first frame that we see when
Mhm.
in the movie, they show the footage timestamp, and it says 19th June 1990. And then when the main what's the main character's name? Clark?
Clark.
So when Clark is exploring backrooms, he's being watched, and the timestamp there is later. So it's in sequence.
Okay, so we're starting and then moving to the future. We're not going
We're
back in
moving
time to
future.
get to
I
Clark.
think we're moving by like 10 days. Cause when I see him being watched by Matt, oh no, by Phil. When I see him being watched by Phil walking into the room with a camera, it says June 29th, 1990. So it's literally
Hmm.
10 days after.
I guess that makes sense too, because I forgot the bird. He finds the dead bird that we see alive, like flying through. You remember the pigeon that
Mm,
comes through? And then
yeah,
Clark
yeah.
sees it like smashed against a wall somewhere,
It's
hinting
died
same
over 10
pigeon, same
days.
location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we get introduced to Clark at some point, which he's a little unhinged. I think we can tell, especially from his first therapy session. They kind of go through their little monologue of, okay, well, you pretend I'm your wife. You walk me through this moment. And he just goes so unhinged so quickly. Like it's not even,
That is a great role play. That is so good. He's a great actor. I love him.
oh, he's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. He just like, you can feel that character so much too. Like there's just been so much anger and resentment built up, and he just doesn't know how to control it. Like it's just like that's what's really brewing inside of him. And then there's what he's trying to portray to the rest of the world. But like he's really, I mean, seems like a pretty bad guy.
Gave me the echoes of Seinfeld, where he wants to be an architect. He always
Uh-huh.
pretends to be an architect, George Costanza, and then he also wanted to be an architect, right? But in real life, he's like a owner of a very bad furniture store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did this so he could support his wife. And then
Whew.
that doesn't turn out for the best. So, he feels like he's given up his career and now he's living in this hellhole of
And
selling
this is my
90s
house that
furniture.
I'm paying for. That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I'm the therapist too, I'm scared of this guy because he went from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds.
Okay, so the thing that always stands out to me about the therapist is like she keeps carrying that handprint from the concrete and like everywhere. It's like when she's having a dinner at her house, watching TV, right?
Yeah, let's
Or
talk about it.
when, yeah, so I was like, why is it everywhere? She carries it everywhere. Even when she's having a dinner, it's not just far away, it's right on the food tray in front of
Yeah.
TV.
Well,
What's up
okay,
with
so
that?
we go into the future. We go into the past technically, and we see the life that she had with her mother, where her mother was a closed, shut in, had newspapers and all that all over the windows, wouldn't let her look outside, wouldn't let her go outside. So she is traumatized because her mom is, paranoid schizophrenic, which I think a lot of people thought, oh, she's clearly been to the back rooms before, and that's why she's
Mm,
crazy. And I don't think that's the case. And I think if it was the case, there would have been more dialogue about her mother going to the back
I never
rooms
thought
and
about
talking
that.
to
I
her
never
about
thought
it.
that. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of speculation that she's been there before and that's what messed her up in the head. But really, I think this is just showing us how she became so ingrained in like trying to be a psychologist or psychiatrist and how she got into this field and what's driving her. But this handprint is showing that she's never really recovered from her trauma. She takes that happy childhood memory and uses it to forget about all of the horrible things. So, she's constantly trying to not think about, okay, my mom trapped me here and I felt, closed in and I felt like I had no power. So she thinks back to this memory of when things were good but it's a crutch. I mean, she's not really recovering from her trauma. She's just hiding from it, which
And I
is why
guess it
she
is. Mm-hmm.
can't really
Go ahead.
fix Clark. I mean, that's ultimately in the movie when it comes down to a conversation they have later. She says, I can't help you. Like, and she's saying, I can't help you because she's realizing that she can't even help herself. She got into this whole profession with no idea that she couldn't even solve her own trauma.
Yeah, that some people laughed in the movie theater when she said, "I can't freaking help you." But it, that's a good point about that piece of concrete with her handprint. That's also the memory that she has with her mother, or maybe of herself being outside the house. So maybe that's one time when her mother let her outside the house. That's literally her only nice memory.
Well, I think that's yeah, I'm thinking that's before things got bad. I mean, life was still normal at that point. She was being a normal kid with a normal mom who cared about her and wanted to build these memories. And then as time went by, probably she gets more maybe agoraphobic. She doesn't want to leave the house. And then the paranoid schizophrenia gets worse and worse to the point where she's not really having a childhood anymore. She's just stuck.
Yeah, and I mean it that tracks, when a person is psychologically damaged or they're trying to figure out what's wrong with them. It is a true sort of a stereotype that a lot of those people they end up going into like being a psychiatrist
Yeah,
essentially, and
because
that's
they're
what
trying to
she's
figure
doing.
themselves out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I guess if somebody benefits going to psychiatrist, I support it. And many people do help each other out. They're great psychiatrists, but if I'm ever gonna use psychiatric help, I gotta be very discerning in who I allow to take care of me. Because I probably don't want someone like her to take care of
Yeah, I
me.
don't think you want her. I don't think she's going to be your best choice. And if you need
Gotcha.
psychiatric help, please call the number at the bottom of the screen.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah. I didn't realize that on my first watch, and that's her infomercial. So she's also doing infomercials.
Yeah,
And
but you're getting,
mhm,
I mean, they're giving you the idea that she's failed. Like, her book's probably not selling well. That's why it's stuck on a late night infomercial.
mhm.
We see the books again later when we're in the back rooms. You can see the books on a shelf, just tons of copies, making me think that that's part of her trauma too, that she feels like she's failed as a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, and she hasn't accomplished her goal.
I see. I took a note about her book, right? It's called The Window Within. And when they start advertising different bullet points, it says, overcome barriers and take action. And then the second point is break through the pain, but it's misspelled as a window pane.
Mm,
So that's a little bit of an Easter egg, I guess.
yeah.
But she looks so nice. Like she looked like I don't know. They did so good. Like in the book picture, she looks like she got her whole life together. She has like nice hair, right? But in the real world, she's a mess.
Yeah, you can even tell just her like walking through the party, like something's missing. There's some probably depression going on. She doesn't really like engage with the other people around. She's there.
Yeah,
She seems like she's
yeah.
floating by a little bit.
I saw that party scene. I don't know what the party was about exactly. I thought maybe it was an open house, but I don't think it is, right? But what triggered her is some lady was talking to her and she saw a mother and a daughter on the table like drawing or something, and that triggered her past trauma, so she had to like exit and take the pills. So yeah, well, I mean, that's a lot of triggering because I mean, you see mothers with daughters all the time. Sad.
Yeah, she's messed up.
Mhm.
So we see, Captain Clark, he's going through his little commercial, and I don't know where we're at in the film now, but he's dressed in his pirate costume and shooting his little infomercial, and he's got his people helping him out, and you can just tell like he's not where he wants to be. This is not like how he wanted his life to look. He's just very defeated, much less like the chair crumbling on him. It's like how his life is crumbling, like everything is falling apart, and this is all he's got left. So definitely showing you how he feels about everything. I mean, he feels nothing but wrong. Like everything is a failure to him. Like he can't get out of this hole that he's in almost.
He's stuck. He's stuck. He can't sell. He can't sell the business probably because he got a lot of debt on it, right? Or maybe he's not in a position to sell. No matter what he does, he's failing with his marketing advertising campaigns. And then they show in that he's watching a commercial of another guy, right, who sells furniture, just like him on the outside. And he's like, what a prick, right? That's what he said or something like that. That was funny. He's like his competitor. Oh gosh, that is hilarious.
Yeah, and I can't tell, is he staying in the furniture store? Is he just staying there to figure out the lights issue? Has he lost his house to the point where he doesn't have anywhere else to live? I believe he mentions the wife is living in the house, but
Yeah.
do we see his house? I can't recall.
He late at night they have a scene where he drives by and he just looks through the house and it looks like it's his house, but they don't show anybody inside. He just drives late at night and he looks at the house through the
Yeah.
windows,
So he's
probably
probably watching
reminiscing.
her living in his store at the current time, which is why he's got his little setup and drinking and TV. It's like that's his life now. And
He can't afford apartment because he got so many bills. Yeah.
yeah. So he's trying to figure out this electrical problem. We see, before we're, I think, with him for the night, we see an electrician showing the little, the fuse box. And there's some really odd fuses that don't seem to go to anything, that are in a weird placement, like they should never be there.
See, that's a strange thing that we notice, right? The weirdness starts happening in the present reality,
Yes.
right? So it's almost something from the level below ends up merging up into the highest level, right? That's why there was a switch with a sticker that was totally off and off to the side.
Yeah, it's somehow crossed over into our world a little bit. Now it is the same, you can say it's, the same wall essentially that we're getting into the back rooms, but it definitely seems like something is kind of creeping over onto our side.
So when he goes inside the back room and he gets scared by the monster, I thought he's not gonna go back because he's running away because he's scared. But then
Well, I think
apparently he
the
was going
scariest
back.
thing about the back room is the second he gets in there and you're just greeted by a giant pile of 90s furniture. I mean, I would have ran the other direction immediately. That's the scare. That's my nightmare. These furniture? Are you kidding me? Have you seen 90s furniture? It's horrible.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is horrible, but I guess because I'm looking at it as a movie, it's like, oh, it's vintage. It's
But
got
it's cool.
character. Every piece is unique. But yeah, it is horror. The furniture is ugly everywhere. It's yeah, hideous.
So he goes into the back rooms. We see him walk around and we see this caveman essentially. It's like a cardboard cutout, and we hear these different languages. Do you know what this is from? Do you know what this recording is from?
I never got that. I never understood when there's like this character caveman cut out, right? And then there's a recording attached to the back of it. What is that about?
So the recording that they used in the film is what we sent out into space on the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. It's like a greeting in 55 different languages that we used as that we're going to send this ship. And if we run into some sort of extraterrestrial life, that maybe they can decipher one of these languages and figure out what we're trying to say and that we're peaceful. So they're using that same tape, trying to maybe make peace or make some sort of connection with whatever the creature is that's living in this world. Or maybe they're trying to coax it into some sort of a trap, which we do see later. But at the first, it looks like they're really just trying to maybe get it on tape or trying to set up some sort of communication with it.
That is cool to know, and that explains why in the end, when they're walking her through the lab, right? What's the doctor's name? I forget. What's
Yeah, and we see
Mary
all the
Klein? What is? Let me see. Mary Klein. Yeah, her name is Mary. So when we see Doctor, that explains later
a
part of the
room full
movie.
of them, right?
A room full of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're trying to communicate with somebody,
yeah, or
and like you
something.
said, they're trying to trap it apparently because they set up a room with a gas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And when Clark first runs into this, he sees he starts seeing a couple of weird things, like there's a reverse stop sign, there's random chairs and furniture melded together, and then he goes into this little nook, like a passageway that has a backpack in it. I don't recall there was some identification with the backpack. Do you remember who was on that?
I didn't see who was on it. I didn't see who
Yeah,
was
I'd
on
have to
it.
watch it again. But he goes through, he sees the chair with the broken leg, and then kind of hears some noise. So he goes back, he looks, and There's clearly something scary, so he doesn't want to confront it. His option is, I'm going to run. My first thought would be, I need to break a leg off of this chair and defend myself because there's no way I'm going to make it up this little tiny ramp into this small little door. And, I'm thinking more defensive at this point, but he's thinking, I got to get out of here. So he gets up to the little door, he opens all the handles, and thankfully it brings him right back to where the stop sign was, and he's able to leave the back rooms for the first time. And this is when he's the only one who's been in there. None of his partners have seen it yet, but he wants to bring them back so he can essentially prove himself to the therapist or the psychiatrist.
Oh man, that was sad. You could see it coming, but when he brought two people and they went down that ditch, that hole, and he got
Yeah, you're
out, he
like,
got scared.
nothing good is going to come from that.
But he didn't notice the head when the camera guy went down that deep hole, and there are like piles of clothes and stuff. There was a head. There was a person's head, or like a mannequin, right there in the pile.
Oh,
And
really? I
then
didn't notice
and then
that.
a second after that, he sees like something from the corridor that scares him. And
Uh,
again, they don't show what it is, but
which makes it all the more terrifying because you just get a little tiny glimpse of what's happening. I mean, you're living in the fear that this person is living in because you don't know
you
what
know,
it is.
I think the enjoyment of that movie comes from the Schadenfreude, where you just kind of enjoy other people's misfortune.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but like somebody's getting them, they're not getting us, so that's good. We're already winning.
We're doing all right.
And then the couch dragged both of them in, right? The
Yeah,
cameraman and
so close to being free, gets to the top, but they can't get the rope in time, and everybody gets pulled in. And now we're just, it's like there's no escape, there's no going back up. So both of them, I mean, at this point, we think they're both goners, the girl and the guy. And then Clark dives through the wall essentially, which I guess is the ceiling in this room. And he's trying to make it to another room and eventually finds her, which she can see him through the wall. But to him, he can't see anything that's going on. It's like it's a wall to him, a window to her. And that's where he gets captured by the creature, I guess. This is when they
that
pick up
was
the
so
camera.
cool when the camera got picked up. That was so nice. I like that. Yeah. So yeah, I thought he would be. Yeah, I thought that would be the end of him essentially.
Yeah, I was thinking he's probably dead at this point. We're going to switch over to, maybe the psychiatrist trying to find him, but he comes back. Something comes back.
That whole room was also like interesting as well. And just seeing so many different rooms, how much thought they put into the set design or set,
Mm-hmm.
the set. There's just something so cool about going through different rooms. I don't know. I just love seeing so many different random rooms. It's like it's like a new, every 10 seconds as they're going through, it's like a new experience. Oh, that's a room. What that room's gonna be like, right?
Well, it's also like eerie too. I mean, every room's got some weird quirk that things just aren't in the right place, or, water's flowing where it shouldn't be, or, there's a wall a little too close to another wall. It's just something that like throws you off a little bit, which makes it fun.
It's like in a PUBG game when people like to loot, but instead here you don't loot, but you just go through room to room and you collect visual experiences, and they really let us experience a lot of different settings. And also, I think that keeps the mind engaged too, because we don't know how each room is going to look like. So we're always like attacked in a beautiful way with new stimuli.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's this room? Oh, there's water there? What's that wallpaper? Right?
Yeah. And so at what point, I remember the camera getting picked up, but Clark runs through rooms at some point, right? When do we get to there's like a Christmas tree and like bodies in the floor? Is that Clark or is that her?
That's him. That's, I think, before. That's before he gets to that
Before
room.
we get to
Before
the
the
pool.
camera gets picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where we see the, guy with the little light and the creepy redheaded woman. Like
Starts running after
everything's,
him.
yeah.
Mhm.
Horrifying visual. I mean, to turn a Christmas tree into a nightmare. they did a pretty good job. And the thing about this world, at least what I'm picking up from it, is that all of the people and places are built off of your trauma. Now, I don't know if that requires you to be in the space or not. So, like, the first thing you said is that the wheel is in the wall. Well, at this point, if Clark hasn't been in the back rooms, maybe it's just building off of the environment. Maybe it's building off of traumatic experiences of the people that are close to it or close to the entrance. But if you look at the things that we run into, they're all traumatic moments from these people's lives. So the furniture store, the house that the psychiatrist grew up in, the bookstore with her unpurchased books, her therapy office where she can't fix anyone from their trauma, Clark's wife, potentially, the redheaded woman, all of these
It is his
moments.
wife, by the way. I'm
It
pretty
is.
sure it's his wife because when he's watching the TV, right, in his store,
Mhm.
when the light starts going off, he kind of looks back before he gets up to investigate. He looks at the
The photo.
portrait, yeah, in the photo, his wife is a redheaded, long redheaded woman,
Yeah.
and
We would think that
also
that's her.
yeah, it's her. And well, I'm 90%, 99% sure it's her. Also, when he's in that room with Mary Klein, and there's a guy with a light, right? Then there's another big guy with like stacked faces.
Mhm.
Well, they all got stacked faces, and the lady, which is his wife, he talks about. He points out to both of them, but he kind of leaves her out. He doesn't go into talking about her because I think that's something personal to him. And he mentions that's my house after all.
Well, I mean, he literally cuts off her hair and puts it on
Puts
the
it on her.
psychiatrist, which is
That's a real role play. That's
yikes.
commitment.
Yeah. One thing I did want to comment on is, we're skipping ahead here a little bit, but once Clark has fully lost his mind, which I feel happened very abruptly. And maybe that's because that's what this place does to you. I mean, we start out and everyone's wearing a suit and they're still wearing suits at the end. So, how is this place impacting you while you're here? And how much time does it take to change you? Because Clark clearly seems different when we see him, not just mentally unstable, like something else is triggered. I mean, he's literally eating the bodies of these replicas, which would not be my first intuition. But also, why are some of them food and then others react more like people? Like the pirate Clark is, and we're in spoiler territories here. So, pirate Clark, can be blunt force, blood, and he's very much seems like a living human being, whereas the other two look like they're made of, rice. And that's how he's been feeding himself while he's living in this world.
Not sure. It was interesting once the pirates start showing up. The wife, supposedly the wife character, starts running away in fear. So maybe that's an indicator that he was abusive to his wife.
And I think we definitely get that impression from the conversation he has with the therapist where they're role playing. I mean, he immediately is pretty horrifying. I mean, he's scary. You can tell he's got a rage inside of him. And if we believe that this whole place is built off of trauma, I think that leads us to believe that the pirate Clark is his representation of what he has become or what he's afraid of being, which is somebody that's given up on his architecture career that is now working in a furniture store, and his rage has consumed him, which is the whole reason he's doing therapy, because he realizes that something's wrong. He realizes that he's got this anger and rage and he's trying to get better. But in his head, I think his fear is that he gets consumed by that rage, which in the back rooms, he essentially is getting consumed by that rage at some point. I mean, literally consumed by his rage. He tries to talk him out of it and say, oh no, she says we're fine. We don't need to change. He's the one that wants to change. This manifestation is what he has of himself in his head. And in his head, he's a scary monster. He's a horrible person who essentially just has a bloodlust for everyone in his life that has ever cared about him, and he's going to destroy them.
Yeah, yeah. I was disturbed when he got eaten all of a sudden, right?
That was pretty
And
brutal.
so it makes me think that the person or the creature that picked up the camera was probably the pirate Clark. And then because later on, when Mary Klein goes into the back rooms for the first time and she encounters him, there are drawings of that pirate, and then he
Mhm.
says, once the light starts flickering and we hear the sound of the monster coming up, he says, "Hey, don't worry, it's only me. It's only me. You know me." So he probably already. So he spent some time with the pirate. He obviously knows Pirate Clark, so
Yeah.
he very familiar with him. That's why he didn't expect. He didn't expect that he'll get eaten. But something changed. Maybe during that conversation, something changed, and he got yeah.
Well, have you heard the scar theory?
No, what is that?
So now, mind you, I did not watch the movie knowing this theory, so I have not gone back to look for it. But there are people that say that Clark has a scar, a very noticeable scar on his face or his forehead, I believe. And when you see him in the back rooms, when they're having that conversation and he's got Mary tied up, that the scar is now gone, and you only see the scar on the pirate version of Clark. So people are theorizing that the pirate version of Clark is our original Clark that has been changed and manipulated by this environment, and the one that we're actually following and we believe is the Clark we know is the replica. This is the one that the Backrooms version is building or has built, which is why his behavior is so strange.
Mm,
I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention for the scar, so and easily could have been a continuity error, even if it was, but who knows?
yeah, I haven't seen that. And then he mentions, right, the more you remember something, the less you remember of it. So the pirate version could technically have been there for longer. So it is a original of the original maybe. And the human version is like a newer, maybe like newer version or something like that. I don't know. It gets deep. That's where it gets deep right here.
Yeah, there's so many different theories you could have as far as what's going on and who are the people we're left with because we make such a quick shift from the Clark we know to these two new versions of him, the scary monster version and the creepy I eat people that, pull apart their bellies and have my old coworker or my employee's head sitting in my fridge over here.
So it's interesting. Like the first part, if we go back when Mayor Klein is there, the apparently Captain Clark starts coming up and he starts choking her out. So is he choking her out to protect her because he knows that the Captain Clark will kill her or something, or eat her?
That's the impression I got, but I'm not entirely sure. And maybe it just goes back to like rage is his nature. Like that's what he instinctually does. But yeah, I mean, I took it that he was doing that so the pirate version wouldn't kill her on sight because if she's sleeping, she's not a threat.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. And then you were mentioning, who did you just mention earlier? Another character, I think.
So the girl that works for him, the one that was
Yes,
trapped behind the wall, her head is in his refrigerator.
yes. And he was saying I was trying to help her, or I was trying to make her understand.
Yeah,
So who killed her?
that worked well.
Who dismembered that girl? Was it him or was it the pirate?
I mean, are they different?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe the
But
pirate's just his real self.
I think it's him. I think it's him, not the pirate, but the human form, because he's the one that has a knife. He's operating a knife.
Well, and when you get back to the wife situation where we see her in the corner, and when the pirate version comes in, she immediately bolts for the door. Or
Yes.
she bolts for the wall, technically. And I think that's just even more proof that this is that piece of him, at least the manifestation of his anger and his rage. And that's why she's afraid of him, because this, who she's seen when she's scared, like this is the person who chases her.
And that also could be just how do I say? They show you how it was in the past, right? In the past, she would always be in fear of him coming over, being drunk, being enraged, and she's running away, emotionally or spiritually, something like that. That was creepy. And then I saw that she was watching. She was actually, I think they showed her still watching the Clark's wife or the red mannequin girl up until the point where he got eaten by the pirate.
Mhm.
because they showed her again briefly, and then she ran away further.
Yeah.
And there was some screaming beforehand when she ran away. I wasn't sure about that. Disturbing. Disturbing.
Very. So let's talk about why everything is the way it is. So, the guy with the multiple eyes, the furniture that's weirdly melded together, that you asked me what this movie makes me think of, and the thing it makes me think of is memory. And again, going back to the more you remember something, the less you remember it, our memories. And I think this goes along with the levels. So when we see where they are, we go through the different levels of her house. There's the real world, there's a different version. So something might be a little bit strange or off. And then we go into more of the details of the house. Like these are the couches, these are this particular thing, even if it's somehow warped and distorted. I took that as that's the key elements that our memory chooses to remember from those places. So, she probably doesn't remember the trash on the floor. She probably doesn't remember where this particular item was in the room, but she remembers, oh, there were couches. There was something on the window. I'm remembering key elements of a place, which all of those key elements form together to make the memory that's in my head. And when we get to the memory that's in the head, that's when we're actually in the backroom space. So, like, I don't think these layers actually exist. I think they were either showing us how the backrooms puts them together or how we're personally putting them together in our memory to create this distorted version of what we have in our.
That's deep. No, that's great. Yeah, that does make sense. Because even if you think about the apartment or the house he used to live in before, you're gonna forget all the details. You'll just remember you'll remember the plan. Like, oh, I remember I kind of had the room here, kind of had the room here, but you may not even remember the rooms in detail. So it will kind of fade away.
And probably most of the memories that you have that you think are vivid, it's like, oh, I remember everything about that. I doubt that's even a memory at this point. You probably watched a home video and you've got a pretty good recollection of what it actually looks like viewing it on a camera. But I doubt the memory from when you were 2 is vivid in your brain. You're probably just thinking of that video you watched as a memory. But other than that, I mean, try to piece together some things that you can think of from 5 years ago. Put yourself in a place you were and try to remember details of that room you were in, or those people you talked to, or how their faces look.
I mean, sometimes I have difficulty remembering the face of a person I just met the other day, especially if it's like a new person. You just kind of remember the emotions. You remember if you like the person, but you may not remember their face.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe you don't
Yeah.
remember what their eyes look like, and that's why the guy has, numerous sets of eyes. It's like you're trying to recall what they look like, and you're like, hey, maybe they were green, maybe they were, a little bit more bulgy. Maybe she had a weird, facial deformity. How did it look? What was off about it? It's like all of these things create this memory, but they're all some sort of weird distortion of what the actual thing was.
You mentioned a cool thing that I then watched again. So Clark leaves her a message, right? He actually leaves her a message. He says, I'm
Hmm.
not coming back.
Yeah.
Then she goes to the store and she has a ponytail. And then
A
she doesn't.
ponytail jacket.
I don't remember the jacket. I just saw the ponytail.
Yes, and I missed this. I heard it from something else that I was watching or reading, that there is this maybe continuity error, maybe there's something intentional, and that's something we're supposed to be seeing. So what did you take from that scene? How do you think that could be construed as being something else?
So it's interesting because she has a ponytail. She goes down the stairs. She still has a ponytail. She looks at the whiteboard, one of those classroom whiteboards where
Mm,
he wrote down the plan. She still has a ponytail. And then more about the room is shown. She hasn't went through the back through the gate, through the taped gate into the back room,
hmm
but her hair changes before she even enters. So, and that room also had those symbols, or how do you call them? The ones that make noise, the wind chimes.
Uh-huh.
How do you
Wind
call them?
chimes.
So
Were
now that
those
room has
in the
wind chimes.
first?
No, they weren't in the beginning. They weren't when Clark was there showing it to an electrician.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't for sure. That room was like, nothing was on the ceiling.
Did we see wind chimes in anyone's past? Do you recall seeing wind chimes like
I
on
don't
her old
remember.
house, maybe?
I don't remember. And they were like stuck to those panels, right?
Yeah, it
At
was
the top
weird.
of
I
the
remember
ceiling.
the wind chimes being a weird thing for that room to have. So that
And
would lead me to
her hair
think,
changed before she went through the door, even before she approached the door. It just kind of changed right then and there randomly. So is it a continuity error, or is there like a real reason for it?
well, maybe this is the first, let's say the layering is a thing and that's not, a memory or a creation. Maybe this is the second layer. So I don't really remember how her hair looked like on the first. I think it was in a ponytail or
She
no,
had
it
a
was
ponytail.
it was straight. So now it's straight because it's just a little tiny manipulation. It's the first memory of that event. So like
Hmm.
everything is a memory. And that's the first thing that got messed up is, oh, she had a ponytail, but now maybe it was straight. Maybe that's how we remember it. Or this is the back rooms coming into the real world again, just like with the switch on the wall where things were getting changed, and even in the world not in the back rooms, things are being manipulated in that room. So you've got the wind chimes now. Maybe it's changing her hair. Maybe it's changing the way that she looks.
Yeah, it's creepy, man. The whole thing is creepy. I don't know how to interpret her hair changing and the wind chimes. I'm just gonna say it's a continuity error. Or other like, well, the thing is, once you start doing the whole thing with the memories and the back rooms, you could justify anything. Like, oh,
Hmm.
there's like, this is her. Actually, the whole movie, the second part of the movie, when we see her, that's her recalling it while she's in the chair, right? With
Could
multiple
be.
faces.
And I think I read something or heard something saying that Kane Parsons, who directed this movie, said everything was intentional. So, like, if you're noticing it, there's a reason it's there. And I thought to myself, damn, that's the best way to get rid of a continuity error. No, that's intentional. I did that. Like, something looks messed up to you. No, no, no. That's part of the story. You need to figure it out. Now, I
That's
do think, in all honesty, I'm sure he probably meticulously edited this thing to death and intentionally put those things in here to make you question or follow the story that he's trying to paint. But yeah, it's interesting. It's fun.
Yeah. Personally, I cannot understand why her hair would change, but maybe that if we're recalling it from maybe she's recalling how she got there and she's misremembering, maybe that makes sense, but I don't know the real answer to that or if we'll ever find out. It would be good to get clarity on what it is because it's not something that like me finding out is going to take away from the joy or mystery of the movie, right? There are plenty of mystery out there.
Well, and if we go with I think there's so much to the lair scene that really like makes me think about how things are happening. And if we go to that, I'm thinking from the perspective of how do I get to these different layers? How do I get to level one? How do I get to level two? How do I get to level five? But maybe there is no getting to it. Maybe they just always exist. Like there's always someone on level one, and there's always your version on level two, and then your other version on level three. And no matter what you do, you're not going to get to the other levels, but you can experience the first one, and then everything will be a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah, that's something that I'm trying to figure out if he starts encountering the monster, right? Clark, when he starts going down. And then when he escapes, he climbs up and then he's on his level. So perhaps as you start going further down, you start encountering other versions, the remembrances of yourself that you start meeting.
So you think maybe it's actual levels, like floors
You go,
almost?
yeah, I think so. Because they are going further down, and nothing is happening when they're on the same level. Only once they start going further down, I think. Except I don't know when Mary Klein did she go down a level somehow before she encountered the. Well, she encountered Clark, but then she was on the level where Captain Pirate Ottoman Empire Captain Clark was there.
Yeah, but
So
could
I'm
he have
trying to
moved
recall
levels
which.
too? I mean, he could have come up a level, he could have gone down a level.
Yeah, because they also could have a relationship where he showed him how to get up, or they talk to each other, right? Clark and Pirate Clark.
Yeah. Something I was talking to you about too is that this movie felt so much to me like the movie Jordan Peele made, Us. And I don't know if you've seen that movie or not, but
No.
he essentially has people that are replica versions of us. So everyone will essentially have a doppelganger that's living underground. that's kind of mimicking your actions, for some reason all eating rabbits, but they live in like the tunnels under, the cities. But the problem is that there aren't this many tunnels for the amount of people there are. They couldn't be doing the same actions. But I got the same feeling, the same vibe that like he's trying to say that there's another world below us that's, I mean, it's a copy of our world and things are just a little bit different. And this feels like a more actualized version of that, like trying to figure out how to make it make sense.
So if we move forward and when Phil starts questioning or talking to Mary Klein, right?
Mhm.
And he's saying, well, we believe that what we're doing here, our research, is the most important research we could be doing. I was like, why? I don't know why. you know?
Well, I love that they're not like a government entity too. It's like, oh no, we were making X-ray machines
Yeah.
and then we stumbled upon this and now this is our thing. And you don't see anything about them being tied with the government. It's just like they found this mysterious thing and decided, no, we're going to devote our whole lives to this. Just crazy. I mean, that's so fun. It's like we don't really see that. It's just random people taking upon a task that they found important. And now they kind of run this world. I mean, they run this underground version of, reality.
Yeah, unless they get split up. Then they get
Unless they get
murked.
split up and then they're
And Phil mentioned, by the way, I really enjoyed everybody's performance. Everybody's performance was really good. Phil's too. I
oh
liked
yeah.
Phil's performance. He was really good. But he was saying there are more gates or more entrances are opening to the back
Mhm.
rooms. So we assume that Phil, obviously, he's in the reality, right? He's in real reality and he's exploring the back rooms actively. That's his job, right? To go and explore. So, and he's able to get in and get out without any repercussions. At least that's how it's shown,
Yeah.
right?
When they're doing the interrogation, are they in the real world or are they in the back rooms?
That part I don't know exactly. I do know that at the end when they reveal the Klein, that she's on the chair with multiple faces stacked, she's in that same room where she was being interrogated. So it's the same exact room, but I don't know why she remembers that. Whether they just left her there. Maybe the whole thing was a dream, but I'd like to think that there is more. I'd like to think that there is a reality aspect to it, right? Otherwise, everything is a dream. So I would like to think that Phil and what he's trying to research is a real thing. So they are trying to get real information from her,
Mhm.
and they just don't let her exit.
Yeah, she's back to being trapped as a child. Like she's stuck in
Mm-hmm.
a room that she can't leave. And, we look at her doppelganger and it's another realization of her being stuck. And now she's an adult, but she's still in the same place she was as a child, stuck in a room and can't get out.
That was a great how they held on her for that performance. As he's talking to her, she just has after she asks, "Do you know what's going to happen to me?" He's like, "That's not up to me." And we see his Phil's voice fade out, and she's just kind of getting like that smirk of like almost like acceptance, surrender, but
Mhm.
also finding peace with it. Like, I guess it is happening again. It's like,
Well, and I
yeah,
see that, I would love to see her in a future, you know, iteration of this movie. I'm hoping that she'll be in the second one. And she's already had experience with this world. She's had experience with this type of trauma. I mean, she's the perfect candidate to start investigating this
she
world.
wrote the book,
She can hold
so
her
she
own.
knows how to get out. And he's an architect, so they're gonna team up. An architect and the looper psychiatrist. They're gonna combine their forces, and they'll find the way out.
So one thing I wanted to talk about too is the store. So we see the furniture move. We notice that when we go into the world, I believe when she jumps in, the furniture is different. And again, this could be a different layer, and that's why the furniture isn't there, because in this layer, maybe we forgot the furniture. We forgot that that was part of the room. But I would say that the version of the furniture store is the most realistic to real life set that we come across. I mean,
Which
it's
version? Which version exactly are you talking
the
about?
one where the gas is going off.
But that's also the version where she tried to open the door, right? And there's just a wall. Isn't that the same room where there's gas? She sees the entrance to the exit, but then she opens the gates and there's a wall.
Yeah, yeah, nothing
Mm-hmm.
happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thought that I had is maybe, and I stole this one from my girlfriend actually, so not a thought I had, it's a thought I stole, is that maybe this is where he has been meeting with the monster. Like, this is where they've been talking and trying to figure stuff out, if that's even what's happening. And he's been kind of recreating the store as best as he can. Or it's because that's what he remembers the best. Like, that's where his memory is. That's what he, spends all of his time doing, is walking around in the store. So he remembers everything really well, which is why it's so close to reality. Or he's been actually picking apart things and trying to put it back together in this other world.
Yeah, and he could also take that furniture back and restock, get back in business, right?
Exactly.
Just
That's a
carry it
that's
up.
a money making idea right
Get
there.
the pirate Jack to help you. He can carry. But there were gas tanks, right, with the sleeping gas or whatever. Those were set up by the research company.
And
So
why do you think they set it up right there?
because it takes effort. There were a lot of them there,
So it
right?
seems like they knew that this is a place that they would frequent. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's probably safe to assume that Pirate Clark at least spends a lot of time in this place, which would make sense because that's where he came from. I mean, he came from this store with the broken chair, and that's kind of where he was actualized. So either the two of them were spending time in this area, or this is Pirate Clark's home.
When she got out of that room and she went through that, very narrow passageway where she got gassed again, were they surprised that she was there in the first place? Because I feel like if they prepared the gas in that room and they probably had a video camera feed,
They knew
I don't know.
Clark was there. They had
Mhm.
video of Clark, but they did not know she was in there. So she was a surprise for sure when they saw her. I mean, immediate reaction is, we got to gas this girl. He's got the little fire extinguisher gasser and trying to knock her out. But she was unexpected. I also think that when the monster, like, what is he doing? He's on top of her and he's not killing her, but I mean, he could. I mean, he ripped apart other Clark like he was Swiss cheese.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's on top of her, even though it takes her a minute to, get the rock out of her pocket and smash his head in, he doesn't hurt her or try. And then when she gets through the wall, he comes over and he's reaching and grasping and kind of tapping his fingers on the wall, but he doesn't necessarily seem violent. And then he starts making this noise, which to me sounded a lot like me. Not in English, some
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
other distorted version of English, what English would be if you remembered it from a dream.
That is true. And I think if he was trying to eat her, then he would open her mouth when
He would
he's
have done
so
it.
close to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
I
don't
mean,
think
he
he
has.
really did. I mean, he's moaning and groaning, but I think he's trying to communicate with her, not to kill her.
Yeah. That was. It's a very memorable figure. It will sell in a souvenir shop because the face that they created for the pirate and
He's
how big the
practical too,
eyes
right?
are. Oh yes, somebody was wearing that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really well done. Yeah, yeah. There's an actor attached to that. I remember reading about that.
Yeah. Very tall guy.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, this whole movie is a trip, right? Even like discussing and reviewing it becomes like a trip in its own. It's not easy. This is not an easy movie to like walk through. It's really an experience. So,
And I think it's something you'd probably pick up differently each time you watch it. Some
hmm
little thing that you missed previously, or a thought that crosses your mind that you didn't catch the first time. I definitely think there's rewatch value to this. And I think that Kane Parsons has a direction that he wants to go and a version of this story that makes sense to him. But whatever you interpret, who knows? I mean, who knows if it's what was intended or if you've got a completely different perception of how things are going. But that's what's fun about it. It's kind of a build your own, story.
the ending to me definitely left me wanting to find out more, and I'm glad that there is going to be a second one because if this is just how it ends, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, Okay, it's all a dream. She's stuck. She's stacked upon herself. And she just sits there like a mannequin, which is sad. And I hope there's some fight back, in the second one. I hope there's some fight because right now there's really setting up the world. We don't see the monster. I mean, except for Captain, but there was another monster, right? I think
Was it?
probably there was another.
Or
Who
was
was the
it always
first?
him?
Was it always him?
Or was it
That's it.
something else and then he changed it with being in the back rooms? Like maybe his past and trauma turned the monster into something else, a version of himself.
Well, who was the guy at the dinner table? There were two other characters, right? The guy who turned the light on, the small little guy, and then there was a big guy, right? The overweight guy who he was eating.
From the conversation, it was hard to tell. It seemed like random people.
Mm-hmm.
But, why did him and his wife separate? Do you recall what the story was behind that? Did she have an affair?
I don't think they. I think they just split.
I
I
mean,
think they
maybe
just
somebody
split.
he knew from some other traumatic event in his life, somebody that used to bully him as a child. I mean, who knows? Could be totally unrelated from someone else's trauma that he found locked in a memory somewhere.
Sorry, fly.
Mike almost got you, bud.
So they greenlit the second movie, right? You
Yeah,
heard that.
that's the word.
And I gotta watch the original. Is it 10-part
Yeah,
series?
we've got to watch all the parts and come back and talk about it
Because
once we
maybe
have a
that
little bit
that will
more info.
explain us everything once we watch it.
Yeah,
There's
at least
there's more.
clear up some of these theories that I'm trying to wrap myself around.
I want to find out more about wind chimes, why they were there, right? I wanna learn why her hair changed before she even went through the back room
Hmm.
entrance. I want to know why scientists are so the research company like, oh, this is so important. Nothing is more important to us than finding that out. Why? I don't know why. What are they trying to get out of it, right?
I mean, let's say you find that. Let's say you find a door, which is a portal to another version of our world that's like a messed up, weird, everything's backwards or remembered incorrectly. Would you want to go back to work?
I mean, if I'll explore it a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, some things are better left unexplored. Like, this
No,
is
you're just going
creepy.
to leave the door alone?
I don't know if I leave the door alone. I'll probably get a bunch of people too,
You'd probably get
and I
people and get
and
some
I would keep
guns.
it private. I would keep it private.
You'd be
Yes,
the X-ray company.
I'd be the X-ray company. But then, how can I afford it? How
You're
are they gonna
you're
make money?
you're
Sell
selling
the
replica
furniture?
chairs.
That's what I'm trying to understand. It takes resources, right, to get so many people to do it.
Well, you got to think with the X-ray people, maybe they had a whole bunch of X-ray machines in there and they're just banking off of that.
Yeah, yeah. They also may have run it successfully and they have like a benefactor,
Yeah.
right, who's funding the whole thing.
They're like, this X-ray machine looks a little weird. Why does it look like that? Don't ask questions. It works fine.
And the story with them, they were running an X-ray company, right? MRI, right? Company,
Hmm.
essentially, which they showed that they were MRIing or about to MRI the pirate version, right?
Hmm.
Because he was on a table. That's so funny.
Was he dead or just
He wasn't moving.
incapacitated?
He wasn't moving.
Because he was still alive. I mean, when he was getting gassed, essentially.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. When he was on the table, he was just laying there, and I don't think there were any handcuffs or anything.
I thought he
don't
was
know.
wrapped, if I remember correctly, like cellophane wrap or
There was
something.
something over him.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a body bag. I think it was a cover.
Yeah. I think they might have been locking him in.
So the X-ray company, you think they were like hanging out in the MRI facility, and then somebody discovered the back room, and it's like, hey guys, you gotta go check it out. I'm like, yeah, we gotta quit being an MRI company.
Yeah, it's like, was it did the MRI somehow open a portal? Like, it's like, what happened? How did you guys get here?
Yeah, because like I thought like maybe they made it happen sometime. Maybe they made it happen.
Maybe.
So
I mean, they
he's
seem to be the ones in some sort of control.
and when Mary asked, "Are you gonna let me out of here?" He seemed to be like, "That decision is not up to me," and he was like hesitant when like there are people watching through the glass, right?
Hmm.
The one-way glass or whatever.
Yeah.
He was concerned. He was a little bit afraid of maybe his superiors. He was careful about not sharing too much. I wasn't sure what the dynamic was there. But he's an employee and they do let him out because he has popcorn with his family,
Yeah,
right?
he gets to watch Neverending Story.
So, but what are they trying to find out? That's the thing. When they're researching, okay, you find a place like that, you find backrooms. What is your main thing to explore and gather as much information as you can? That's what they seem to be. That's where they seem to be at. But I wonder if they have like a more specific reason for investing time into it.
No, I mean,
Was it just
why do people go to therapy?
to find out what's wrong with them, how to
Yeah,
fix them?
they want to figure out their trauma. They want to figure out how to live their lives and be happy. And, I think a lot of it for them from a scientific standpoint is curiosity. And even though these are not aliens, it is a creature to them. It's something they don't have any experience with or any understanding of. It's form of life that we've never seen before.
That recording that says hi in all of the languages, right? That's a neat touch that they're really trying, right?
That's good. Yeah, I did not know without doing some research. That's where that
It
was
sounds
from.
creepy when you hear it. It sounds
Oh, it's
creepy.
very eerie. Yeah.
So yeah, this movie, like it's like a mild horror, right? But it's a setup. It's a setup for the second one. I feel like because I didn't feel too scared. It felt more suspenseful. It felt very interesting. It felt like definitely like I was on a journey with them, exploring rooms and going through things. It didn't feel like a true horror,
Yeah. Just eerie.
eerie. Yeah, which is again, this movie is very unique because I have never experienced a movie like that one. Visually, how it took me on an adventure, kind of makes you think. But I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I thought more about Inception's ending or if I'm thinking more about this. I think Inception ending made me think more.
I feel like Inception's is a little bit more clear cut. Not that I didn't love Inception at the time,
Yeah.
but I've got a very clear answer for what happened in Inception and how we got to all the places we did. Whereas here, I'm as lost as I could possibly be.
I really enjoyed their casting choices. So when I saw who the actors were, I was like, yeah, who's good? So the main character, right, the actor who played Clark Chiwetel. Maybe I'm mispronouncing it. Probably am. I really enjoy his work.
Yeah, he's
I remember
fantastic.
him from. I remember him from. Okay, tell me where you remember him from, and I'll tell you two movies that I remember him from.
Serenity.
Serenity. I've never seen Serenity,
You're
but
missing out, man.
I saw him and I enjoyed his performance in two movies quite a lot.
Doctor
And he's got great
Strange.
range. Oh, that's a good one. No, the two movies that come to my mind is the first one is The Inside Man with Clive Owen.
See the cop?
He's Denzel Washington's Denzel's sidekick. Yeah.
Man, it's been so long since I've seen that movie.
And another movie where I also enjoyed his performance. He's just got great presence. Is Salt. He's in Salt.
Man, you're picking two movies I haven't seen in so long.
Salt with Angelina Jolie.
I remember
when
the
she's a Russian
movie.
spy.
I remember that Angelina Jolie
And
was
then The
in it.
Inside Man. Those are great movies, man. And he
Inside
did a
Man is
great
great.
job.
I will admit that's a really good movie. That's one I forgot about.
He just has such great presence. And when I saw the trailer with him and him, just the whole movie concept and that it's him, it just felt like it was going to be a good movie for some reason. Maybe
Yeah,
because he only takes good movies. I just had a good feeling that this movie is going to be interesting.
you've got to watch him in Serenity, man. His role is perfect. He's great.
The casting here, all of the actors, well, especially the main one that have to carry the movie, right? The psychiatrist, Clark.
Mhm.
I mean, they did a great job. I really enjoyed the subtle but realistic. And again, my favorite scene is when they role played. When they role played in the office, I was like,
Mhm.
wow, man, I feel like he's about to go
Yeah,
choke
he's
her
about
out or
to
something.
kill this girl right now.
That got real. That got real. Mastery. Yeah, like we saw with Obsession in this movie, just a few actors is all that's needed to carry a movie and make it really believable and enjoyable. But he has I mean, they're older, right? So they've been doing it for a while, and he's been in so many movies too. So they really got a lot of craft to their acting, like a lot of depth, and you can throw him into any movie. I feel like his range is really high. And I don't know what character he played in Serenity, but in Salt and Inside Man, he kind of played a cop, almost like law enforcement. But this one really showed like a different color of him. I mean, he plays an alcoholic like really, really well. He plays
Oh yeah,
rage really well.
yeah.
And that scene where he's crying, I think he had the scene where he's crying. He's like, I like it here and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just so enjoyable.
They all crushed it.
Now we need to make one. We're gonna make the front door.
Front room.
Oh, we'll do like when we used to go to the restaurant and they have those fries. the land run restaurant, and we'll go to
The
Sidewinder.
Sidewinder for it.
Sidewinder. There you go. I feel like random thought like Backrooms. That'd be like a great facility for like almost like a massive escape room
Mhm.
that you have to find the way out, and then they can just easily manipulate. They can just make some locks unlockable, so they could always change it. And you're there with your buddies, and maybe there's like a monster walking at you,
Get
and you
chased.
have to run away. Yeah, like a
Hey,
game of
sign me up.
tag. Wouldn't that be a great thing?
Oh, it'd be a blast.
Yeah, I mean, if you make it like that, and then you just move the walls around, and then you make some locks not open anymore, that's all you need. And survival game,
Get
winner
building.
takes all. It's kind of like paintball, I guess. Okay, how do we want to end this?
You just did.
So obviously, this movie is a recommended watch
For sure.
For me, this movie is a definitely yes to watch because it just looks different. It has a whole different feel. The plot is different, but visually, I find visually the choices that they made are really pleasant. Even the color of the walls, everything. And granted, it is very true to the original, but visually, this movie to me is one of like very pleasing experience.
Yeah, it's great. I would 100% recommend this one. I mean, everything coming out now is just crushing it. So more movies directed by 20-year-olds. Once you
Wow.
hit 30, you're done. No more directing.
No.
Unless it's us, and then we can do it.
Then I say, man, the old dogs, man. They're coming out with bangers now, man. And that's like, you know why? Well, it's because they have this life experience, man. They've seen it all. The stuff that they make relates to everybody. You know, they're kind of bringing us back to the good old times.
They've still got
Before-
the vision.
They're bringing you stuff before the brains got scrambled by the social media. This is the last generation of filmmakers with an unscrambled brain. This is a pre-feed generation.